Welcome back. November is National Adoption Month. Just in Time for Foster Youth is highlighting the need for adoptive families for teens in the U.S. foster care system. Don Wells, Just in Time's Chief Empowerment Officer, and his adoptive daughter, Belen, join me now to talk more about the program. Thank you both for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
So, first of all, Don, let's talk about the importance of adoption and this month and why we should highlight this and why it's so important.
Well, the thing about adoption really speaks to the whole thing about children having a sense of belonging. That's what that's all about. So everybody needs that. Everybody knows that that is the most important thing for a young person growing up. So in an intact family, that belonging is supposed to happen. And if children don't have that from their biological family, it's important that they get it from someplace. So having an adoptive family can be very, very significant for a young person.
This is your adoptive daughter. Share your story.
Well, I met Belen when she was 8. At that point, I actually worked at a television station, and I had started this campaign to recruit mentors. So I started mentoring Belen and her brother. They went into the foster care system, but I was able to stay in touch with them over the years. So after a time, Belen, I just called her my daughter on purpose, and I was her dad on purpose. Oh. And that continued for years. And then a couple of years ago, when she was 31, we did an adult adoption because she was my daughter. And so we just made it official.
And tell me what it meant to you, Belen.
Honestly, it was a form of safety for me. My biggest fear was people leaving my whole life. I was in foster care for many years, and people kept coming in and out, and he'd always tell me that he was going to be there, and I still had some kind of fear. And at some point he was like, well, let's just make this solid, and we did the whole adoption, and I'm very happy. I feel I can grow, I can do what I want, and I still have the safety of having parents. And
you got adopted at the age of 31?
Yes.
That's really talk about breaking the mold here. That's an interesting concept. I don't think a lot of people would think to do something like that.
Right. And in fact, one of our other volunteers at Just in Time, once I did that, then she adopted a young person she had been mentoring for a long time. And when we went for the adoption, there were all these young little kids who were being adopted, and people were looking over at Belen and me and my wife and thinking, what's going on over there?
Wondering who's getting adopted in the mix.
So it was great.
Well, let's talk about the Just in Time, the program that you are the Chief Empowerment Officer of.
Well, Just in Time does exactly what I was talking about before. I actually went to Just in Time as a volunteer to try to help other young people. And what I took with me when I went there was something that I learned from Belen, which is when she was 11, after I knew her for 3 years, she turned to me at one point. We were watching Shrek for like the 12th time, and she said, "Why are you still here?" And I thought, no young person should be asking that question of an adult in their life. So that's when I committed to I was going to continue to be there for her, going forward. So at Just in Time, that's what we do. We try to create a community of support for young people coming out of foster care after they turn 18, so they know they have people they can count on. And we call it creating a reliable, responsive, real community for them.
Has it helped you, the Just in Time program?
It has. I started it originally in 2010, and I was going off to college, and I went and got my first dorm furnished by them, and it has helped me in so many different ways. I got my first car through them. Wow. I did a financial fitness program, and I learned to save really well.
Wow.
She learned to save really well. She's like a
good for
saver.
you. Good for you, because I just developed that habit. So it's good that you're getting it now. Well, it's so great to meet you both. A very inspiring story. Real quick, your website, if people want to go to.
It's JITfosteryouth.org.
Fantastic.
So, thank you very much.
Don, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Belen, pleasure to meet you as well.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to both of you. Teresa?
What a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that.